You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4. We begin with breaking news.
The man Madison police arrested after a 6-year-old accidentally shot himself in the head this weekend is officially charged. 34-year-old Zahiri Powell is charged with 1 count of felony child neglect, causing great bodily harm. On Monday morning, police say Powell was watching the 6-year-old when he left his gun, within the child's reach. This happened at the Harmony Apartments near Milky Way and Milwaukee Street. The child remains in critical condition.
Now let's get a look at your first warned weather forecast. Jacob Montesano is out on the weather patio. Is it still raining?
No, not raining at the moment, but you can definitely feel it is a little chilly out here, and it kind of feels and smells like rain right now. But a lot of southern Wisconsin not seeing the rain at the moment, although some sprinkles may be falling even if the radar does not say your individual location is currently raining. Now, we are seeing some consistent rain further off to the west in Crawford County, but that is just about it as far as anything consistent right now in southern Wisconsin. Now, as we look at the forecast throughout the night, we may continue to see just some light sprinkles scattered throughout the area. Nothing is going to be heavy and nothing is going to be widespread. It'll be very isolated, but we are going to remain a little bit chilly right now. Upper 50s, lower 60s. These have basically been the high temperatures of the day, and the average high is supposed to be in the middle 70s. So we're pretty easily below normal, but those temperatures are going to warm up very quickly after today. Now for the evening, although we are going to be dry, again, a little bit chilly, but the cloudy skies that we're going to continue to see overnight will help keep those lows fairly close to normal. But like I mentioned, it's going to warm up very quickly, and over the weekend, it's going to feel like summer. I'll have the details on that coming up a little bit later.
Thank you, Jacob. Well, if you have a child in school, you may be getting ready for their report card. But it's not only children who get one.
That's right. Every year, the Department of Public Instruction scores Wisconsin public schools and districts. But as our Ellie LaLiberte shows us, that process could soon be changing.
Every year, schools and districts in Wisconsin get scored on a couple of different factors: achievement, growth, target group outcomes, and if students are on track to graduate. But the office that oversees public education in Wisconsin says the way this is done needs to be revamped.
So you're in 2025 using a GPS system that is outdated from 2015, let's say. The roads have changed, traffic patterns are different. If we don't update the system, we might get lost or take the wrong path.
That's why the Department of Public Instruction is putting together a panel of more than 24 education leaders to provide recommendations for change. Some of the key updates could include a greater emphasis on growth for schools that serve more low-income students and changing the methodology for academic growth. Now, this review comes on the heels of a controversial move the agency made last summer to revise the benchmark for standardized testing. Reporting in Madison, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. And that panel is expected to meet in June and August. DPI says recommendations will be implemented by the time the 24-25 school year report cards come out in November.
A Madison man charged in a 2022 shooting that injured 2 teens pleaded guilty today to 2 counts of armed robbery. 23-year-old Avian Vaccaro pleaded to the counts as a party to a crime in exchange for 2 attempted homicide charges to be dropped. In August of 2022, Madison police arrested Vaccaro and 22-year-old Jamari Monday after a shooting outside of a McDonald's on Dryden Drive. The shooting injured a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old. Monday pleaded guilty in 2023 to attempted murder and is serving a 12-year sentence. Vaccaro's sentencing date is August 1st.
The trial of Maxwell Anderson is in full swing now. The 34-year-old Milwaukee man is charged with killing 19-year-old Sade Robinson. Today, jurors heard opening statements, and the state pointed to what they call overwhelming evidence, including videos and phone tracking data. They say proves Anderson killed Robinson last April. Meanwhile, the defense repeatedly discussed the concept of reasonable doubt with jurors.
Maxwell Anderson attempted to make her disappear from this world by discarding her body into body parts into Lake Michigan, and then taking her car and burning it behind an abandoned building.
They didn't find any of Sade's blood with all the samples they took throughout that entire house.
The trial is expected to last 2 weeks, and jurors are not sequestered.
A Madison family is asking people to be on the lookout for their missing loved one. A family member of Vince Hildestead contacted News 3 Now, saying the search for the 53-year-old remains active. He was discharged from Unity Point Meriter at about 1 a.m. last Thursday, but no one picked him up. Police say Hildestead does not have a phone or a car. He also has Parkinson's disease and is currently without his medication. If you see him, call 911 or the Madison Police Department at 608-255-2345.
It turns out smoking marijuana and eating THC edibles could be tied to early heart disease. In a small study, researchers found healthy people who regularly use marijuana showed early signs of the disease, similar to tobacco smokers. It showed vascular function is reduced by more than 40% in marijuana smokers, and that function fell by more than 50% in people who regularly eat THC edibles. Now, this is just an association at this point. The study's author says it does not reveal causation. Still, the American Heart Association advises people to refrain from smoking any substance.
Today at the state capitol, lawmakers considered Gale's Law. The bipartisan bill eliminates patient cost sharing for breast cancer screenings for women at increased risk. It would also get rid of cost sharing for diagnostic breast cancer screenings for women with abnormalities. The bill's named after Gail Zemer, who died of breast cancer back in 2016. Today, we heard from her daughter, who said Gail never missed a mammogram and only received her diagnosis after an additional ultrasound, one she paid for out of pocket.
While my family is blessed to be able to afford these out-of-pocket costs, my mom knew that this would be considered a luxury for many. She also knew how terrifying that statement was. Personal health should never be considered a luxury.
More than half of U.S. states already have similar laws.
Well, sometimes the best things in life are the ones that take us by surprise. At least that's the idea behind one Madison artist who's been hiding mini nuggets of joy around the city for years.
It's like a treasure hunt. Meryl Hubbard introduces us to the man behind the Mini Wisconsin project.
It's a uniquely Madison experience to open up a mini library and find something different. It's a mini trinket, and behind it, an artist who's made his mark.
It brings joy to people, so that's reason enough to do it.
Ken Fager is the creator behind the iconic Capitol. Well, the mini Capitol. He started the Mini Wisconsin project in 2020, where he hides his petite creations around town. He says the project began by accident. He originally purchased this 3D printer to build a camera part, but he needed practice, so he started designing small capitals and giving them away. 5 years and multiple designs later, Ken is still hiding mini Wies because of how they make the finders feel.
I continue to spread little random acts of kindness around town because it's something that I want to see more of in my life, more spontaneity, more joy, more happiness, and I need to will that into the world.
The Mini Wii project has caught popularity over the years, where locals often post when they find a mini model and hunt for more of Ken's creations. Reporting in Madison, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
The Mini Wii project is sustained by donations. You can find more information about Ken and his project on channel3000.com. And we want to apologize. We will not have Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company on today. We will answer your plant questions next week, so please send them in to tips@channel3000.com. And coming up on Live at 4, a big day in the world of Bitcoin.
Yeah, we'll tell you how the Trump administration is involved and what's next for the now highly politicized industry. Stay with us.
U.S. embassies and consulates around the world are pausing new student visa appointments at the direction of the State Department. It's the latest move from the Trump administration aimed at deterring international students from studying in the U.S. The State Department told embassies and consulates it's reviewing mechanisms for screening student and exchange visitor visa applications. Based on its review, the department says it will issue guidance on expanded social media vetting.
President Donald Trump is wielding his pardon power. This week alone, the president has issued pardons to former reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley. Now, they've been serving time for conspiring to defraud banks and violating tax laws. And it does come after their daughter helped the campaign for the president. He also pardoned a former Virginia sheriff for accepting bribes and padding with his department with untrained, wealthy businessmen. And finally, the president said he is considering pardoning the men convicted of plotting to kidnap Michigan's governor.
The president is giving Russia 2 weeks to submit a plan for a ceasefire with Ukraine. Speaking with reporters this morning, he made a vague threat to Moscow, declining to provide any specifics.
We're going to find out whether or not he's tapping us along or not. And if he is, we'll respond a little bit differently.
This comes amid reports the president is considering putting new sanctions on Russia after it launched a massive air assault on Ukraine over the weekend.
Well, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claims his country's military killed the elusive leader of Hamas, Mohammed Sinwar. Sinwar was the brother of former Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, who Israel killed last year. Netanyahu made the comment during a speech in Israel's parliament today. The announcement comes after chaos erupted on the first day of U.S.-backed aid distribution in Gaza. Thousands of people, you can see, rushed into the distribution site in the southern city of Rafah, tearing down fencing and climbing over barriers to get to food after Israel's nearly 3-month block on aid. Israel's military said it fired warning shots amid the chaos. Palestinian officials say that gunfire killed 1 person and injured 48 others.
Day 2 of what's being described as the world's largest Bitcoin conference included a visit from Vice President J.D. Vance.
And the vice president was the keynote speaker and promised full support from the White House. Reporter Andrew Gutierrez reports from Las Vegas.
Vice President J.D. Vance joined the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas to sing the praises of cryptocurrency.
We're talking about genuine, ground-up innovation, one that's already improving the well-being of tens of millions of our fellow citizens.
The vice president is the highest-ranked politician at this year's conference. President Trump's 2 sons, Don Jr. and Eric, were there too.
With President Trump, crypto finally has a champion and an ally in the White House.
The president was initially skeptical of Bitcoin and called it a scam, but his second term brought a change of heart. Bitcoin's value has rocketed over $100,000. It's mostly held as an investment, but major companies from Whole Foods to Amazon accept it as payment. The administration's crypto enthusiasm has raised some eyebrows on Capitol Hill. After the president hosted a dinner for his meme coins investors, Senator Elizabeth Warren accused him of corruption.
Donald Trump is using the presidency of the United States to make himself richer through crypto, and he's doing it right out there in plain sight.
Vice President Vance says the administration's biggest contribution to the famously volatile crypto industry has been rejecting regulators, and that Bitcoin is here to stay. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Las Vegas.
And the Trump family's media company said yesterday it's raising $2.5 billion to invest into Bitcoin.
And let's get a look at our first Warren forecast. It was tough leaving the house today. Jacob.
Yeah, we continue to see some cool temperatures, but don't worry, we are going to see much warmer temperatures, especially starting on Friday, and that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. We also have a small chance of some isolated storms for tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, but each day it's going to be dry for most of the day, and a lot of the area will likely be dry for the entire day. Now, once we get to next week, storms are going to be a little bit more likely. Obviously, a lot can change between now and then, but it does look like we are going to see a good amount of rain for the middle and end of next week. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, again, really the only consistent rain is further off to the west in Crawford County. A lot of the area just seeing some scattered sprinkles, but for the most part, nothing is heavy at all. Now, looking at the radar throughout the night, we're going to continue to see the chance of some sprinkles, but overall, many parts of the area may not see this rain continue, and even those that do, it will be very light. That's going to be the forecast throughout the day on Thursday, although we are going to see some peaks of sunshine, especially later in the day Thursday. And then once we get to Thursday night and early Friday, we're going to see very clear skies, and most of Friday will be very sunny. Now, we do have a small chance of those storms popping up in the afternoon and evening. Maybe some of them could be severe, but we're not really too concerned about the severe weather risk, as we may only see about 1 or 2 storms in general. A lot of the areas shouldn't see anything at all, as we'll continue to see some partly cloudy skies into the overnight hours Friday. Now, temperatures are for tomorrow will be better than today, upper 60s, lower 70s. Still a little bit below normal, but certainly better than what we're seeing right now. And then looking at Friday, we're going to see high temperatures possibly get to the lower 80s. We also have that small chance of some storms in the afternoon. It may get a little bit breezy Friday, but the wind not too bad. And then fast forwarding to the weekend, it's going to remain very nice, upper 70s, possibly more lower 80s with a lot of sunshine. Small chance of storms Saturday, but Sunday should be dry. Now, like I mentioned, we do have a good chance of rain for the middle of next week, and the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook suggests that, as we may see above average precipitation really starting around Tuesday to Wednesday of next week and continuing towards the following weekend. So overall, the next 5 days, we're not going to see much rain, although we're going to continue to see a small chance of it for the rest of this week. Sunday and Monday, almost certainly going to be dry, and we could even see highs in the middle 80s for Monday and Tuesday before those storms roll through. But even after all those storm chances, we're still going to have high temperatures well into the 70s. So this is really going to be, today might have been the coldest day for a while. We're not going to see anything nearly as cool today. Even tomorrow, even though a little bit below normal, still about 10 degrees warmer than today.
All right, thank you, Jacob. Yeah, summer is on the way.
I know, you can see it. We'll take it.
Next on Live at 4, as lawmakers debate the state budget, local leaders are calling for them to address the child care affordability crisis.
The Janesville Boys and Girls Club CEO is here to talk about what needs to change. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Recent reports on the child care market in Wisconsin show less than half of available spots qualify as affordable. In Rock County, only 27% of those slots are affordable.
That's tough. The issue has gained attention from lawmakers who are in the middle of their budget season right now. It's also gained attention from the Boys and Girls Club of Janesville, which is calling for investment in affordable childcare, calling the current levels of accessibility a crisis.
And joining us now to talk about what Wisconsin needs, the Boys and Girls Club of Janesville CEO, Rebecca Viam. Thanks for being on with us today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
And well, so one of the things I wanted to ask, in your news release, you mentioned issues arise from the lack of affordable child care, including within the workforce. Can you expand on that? And what have you been seeing in Rock County?
Right. In Rock County alone, for the school age child care providers, only 27% of their slots are considered to be affordable. And at our Boys and Girls Club, we serve, our families work at over 150 different employers in Rock County. So we have a really far reach, and our concern is if those employees at those businesses don't have access and can't find affordable care, then it's going to, of course, then hurt that business.
And have you seen businesses suffer because of childcare, or we don't know at this point?
No, there's been a lot of surveys taking place locally asking employers, are you seeing this as an issue? And they certainly are reporting that it's an issue. It's affecting productivity and attendance from their employees. And we don't want parents to be making difficult choices of either leaving the workforce or to be leaving their child unsupervised at home because they can't find care.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, moving forward, what kind of support would you need to start making some changes here?
Yeah, so, you know, locally, we, all Boys and Girls Clubs, there's over 200 Boys and Girls Clubs across the state. Wow. And we have a really far reach. We work with both parties on both aisles to really put kids first, and we've done so over the last several decades. And we just really ask that we continue to put kids first and working families first and make sure that there's funding for sustainable solutions for the child care affordability.
Exactly. It sounds like putting kids first and putting parents first kind of go hand in hand. And we were with you, or we joined the groundbreaking for a new facility. Tell us about that in Rock County.
So we're really excited to, last week we celebrated our groundbreaking ceremony. We turn away over 100 kids every single year at our facility alone, which is a huge number. And so we've been working on the last couple of years to raise funds. We've already raised $10.2 million of our $12 million goal to build a new facility. It will triple our capacity. So when we're talking about that affordability piece, this really is going to be critical for our community, for our parents and businesses to have more options for after school care. And at the same time, we're really proud to be working with our kids to make sure that they're ready to be that next workforce. So we have programs like Wisconsin After 3, Be Great Graduate, that focus on academic success for the kids that come to our programming. We have mentoring, healthy habits, all kinds of really high quality programming that we're offering our community.
I love the energy. It sounds great.
I do too. Well, and before we wrap up, where can people go to learn more and to help out if they want to?
Yeah, so they can visit our website at bgcjanesville.org, or they can give us a call at 608-755-0575.
Wonderful.
Very nice.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for coming.
Thank you.
All right, take care. And coming up on Live at 4, how UW-Madison plays a major role in a breakthrough test for Alzheimer's disease.
Plus, why the EPA raided a cheese factory in Greene County.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Listen, if some of you decided to stay home with a book, a blanket, some coffee, or something else, no judgment. It was that kind of day.
It felt like fall.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we have to deal with this. Weather words today being few more shower chances being the reason. We have Jacob Montesano out there on the patio feeling that fallish kind of weather too.
Yeah, definitely a little bit on the chillier side right now. Now, although we're going to see more shower chances, the temperatures are going to warm up starting tomorrow, and then they're going to be very warm, or at least much warmer compared to today by the time we get to Friday. Now, looking at the current radar, still seeing mostly dry conditions, although there are a few raindrops still falling out here, so just because the radar isn't saying it's raining doesn't mean there's not some very light precipitation out there. Now, that's going to be the case throughout much of the night. If we take a look at future track, we're going to continue to see cloudy skies and a small chance of rain, maybe a little bit more consistent rain further north and east, but overall the rain is going to still be very light, but we're going to continue to see that chance of rain for tomorrow. However, it will be warmer compared to the upper 50s and lower 60s we're seeing today, and these have basically been the high temperatures, and the average high, at least for Madison, is 73. So we are easily below that today, but we're going to be a lot closer to that tomorrow. Now, as we take a look at the winds, the good news is that not too bad. Some areas are a bit breezy, but the wind not making it feel any cooler than it already is. And throughout the evening, temperatures will be pretty steady in the upper 50s. We'll continue to see cloudy skies, and as we get to the overnight hours, they'll drop to around 50. So that's going to be pretty close to the average low. And then looking at tomorrow, we're going to see high temperatures get pretty close to 70, where they haven't even gone to 60 here in Madison today. So definitely warmer tomorrow, and we're going to continue to see those temperatures warm up. I'll talk more about a very summer-like weekend coming up a bit later.
Thank you, Jacob. A Greene County cheese plant is under investigation by the Environmental Protection Agency.
Our Kyle Pazorski was the first one on the scene and has the details on why the agents showed up.
A special agent with the EPA could provide very limited details about the allegations or even possible violations taking place inside this Monticello cheese plant. But they did at least say this is a result of a federal search warrant.
We don't think that there is an imminent harm.
Agent Landsman relaying some good information for the people of Monticello. This after federal agents showed up on the village's north side Wednesday morning. Over the course of several hours, agents could be seen going in and out of the facility, at some points carrying multiple large coolers. The agent working to make clear any threat to the public is non-existent. However, there is reason to believe an environmental crime took place.
Now we're gathering information, and we would not want to jump to any conclusions about where this may or may not lead. There are allegations of environmental crimes, and in order to execute a federal search warrant, you have to have probable cause to believe that an environmental crime was committed.
Special Agent Landsman further saying no one was taken into custody during the course of the EPA operation. In Monticello, Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now.
Kyle, thank you. We're also told that operations at the plant continued as usual with minimal disruptions.
The Grant County Sheriff's Office is investigating after a crash last night killed a Muscadet man. At about 9 o'clock, deputies responded to a crash between a motorcycle and a tractor on Highway 133 near Taylor Road. When they arrived, deputies found 37-year-old Matthew Griffith was headed east on his bike on Highway 133 when he rear-ended a tractor that was pulling a planter. Griffith died at the scene, but the tractor's driver is okay. The sheriff's office believes Griffith's speed and the fact that he wasn't wearing a helmet were factors in the severity of the crash.
Well, the Meriter nurses' strike enters day 2, and more state Democrats have joined the nurses' cause.
Another news conference was held this afternoon, and our Jalen Banks joins us with what was said and the hospital's response.
The standoff between the union representing the nurses of Meriter and the hospital continues as they enter day 2 of the strike. Day 2 of the strike resembled the first day as more top state Democrats came out supporting the striking nurses. Nurses say the hospital's latest offer doesn't address their concerns about staffing, safety, and burnout.
It's about making sure that there's a proper amount of nurses and there's a proper amount of patients, that we don't overburden either end. It's about making sure that we are in a position to make sure that safety comes first in Meriter and in hospitals all across Wisconsin. Am I right?
The hospital released an updated statement today in response to the ongoing strike, saying, "Our negotiation team will participate in a bargaining session with SEIU Wisconsin tomorrow, May 29th, with the assistance of a mediator." The statement continues, "We have a strong desire to reach a fair and mutually beneficial agreement that supports our nurses and upholds our mission to deliver exceptional care to our community." For now, reporting in Madison, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Jalen. And we will continue to keep you updated both on air and on our website, also on channel3000.com and our mobile app as the strike continues.
A newly approved test will offer a less invasive way to screen for Alzheimer's disease. The FDA approved the first ever blood test to aid in the diagnosis of the disease. UW Health and UW's School of Medicine and Public Health played a key role as well, contributing to 40% of the data that the FDA used for approval. One doctor we spoke to says the blood tests will increase accessibility. The only other way to test for Alzheimer's are with a PET scan or a spinal fluid test, which cannot be done in some remote areas of the state.
It's a pretty revolutionary change in the clinical world now, because what we can do is with a simple blood draw, we can identify the first protein of Alzheimer's disease and biologically confirm if someone has Alzheimer's.
And for now, the test will only be used at specialty clinics with people who are already cognitively impaired. The only treatments for Alzheimer's disease are drugs that delay but do not halt the disease progression, and treatments for symptoms. Researchers say the ultimate goal is for blood tests like this to be used in people before cognitive symptoms appear, once proven preventative treatments exist.
We now know the full schedule for the Badger volleyball team. The Badgers will open Big Ten play at home against Rutgers on September 26th. Mark your calendars as before heading to Iowa City to take on the Hawkeyes. That's followed by 2 home games against Illinois and Michigan. Later, the Badgers will head to State College to take on reigning national champions Penn State. The team will get one chance against the Nebraska Huskers on October 31st at the UW Fieldhouse. The Minnesota Gophers will come to town on November 5th to take on the Badgers. The season ends in Minnesota on the 28th.
Kind of feels like football season.
Yeah, right?
Anyway, coming up on Live at 4, what could happen to mortgage rates if the president privatizes Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae?
Plus, Macy's weighs in on tariffs' effects on what it sells, whether you can expect widespread price hikes at the retailer. And let's take a look at Wall Street. The Dow dropped 245 points. The Nasdaq ended the day down 98, and the S&P 500 is down 33 points.
Well, Macy's is the latest retailer to say it's raising prices due to tariffs. It joins other retailers, including Target and Walmart, in announcing these price increases. Macy's CEO said in a Wednesday earnings call that price hikes will not be broad across inventory, but instead selective, so higher prices for certain brands and categories. Macy's has cut its profit guidance for the year due to impact of the ongoing trade war.
The president says he wants to privatize mortgage giants Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. The move would end 17 years of federal government control over the companies. The government took them over in 2008 after both played a role in America's housing market crash. The conservatorship was never meant to be permanent, but analysts say untangling them from the government that could be tricky and increase mortgage rates.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, Jacob has your first warn forecast.
Plus, Kyrian Lee shows us the 8th annual Black Girl Magic Conference and what it means to a longtime participant.
You get to meet new people, you get to collaborate with people, you get to share personality and traits with people around you. And I really think it's a really good experience.
This week, an event celebrating young Black women in Dane County returns.
News 3 Now's This Morning's Kyrian Lee has the details.
This Thursday, the Black Girl Magic Conference returns to Madison for the 8th year, bringing together hundreds of young Black girls for a day of empowerment, leadership, and inspiration. Joining us now is Rosa Thompson, Executive Director of Black Girl Magic Educational Services, and Essence Webb, an 8th grader from Sherman Middle School and longtime participant. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
So, Rosa, first and foremost, can you give us a little background about the Black Girl Magic Conference and how it has evolved over the past 8 years?
Yes. So the Black Girl Magic Conference started in 2018. It was just a way for our Black girls who participated in Black Girl Magic groups at their school just to come together. And back in 2018, we had about maybe 50, 60 girls who joined us at the Goodman Center. It was kind of like a one-off event just to celebrate the girls who are currently in that program. And we got a lot of interest. And so we came back the following year and we had about 500 girls. And then when the pandemic hit, we switched to virtual for a couple of years. And then we came back in 2021 with a in-person conference. And then it's just been growing and growing. And so this year, we'll be welcoming a little over 650 girls.
So Essence, obviously you're gonna be a part of it. So what has it been like being a part of Black Girl Magic over the last 5 years?
Being part of Black Girl Magic means a lot. Being part of Black Girl Magic is quite literally the magic. You get to meet new people, you get to collaborate with people, you get to share personality and traits with the people around you, and I really just think it's a really good experience.
Oh, I love that. So, Rosa, this year's theme is Destined to Dream, Lead, and Shine. So how do you hope the conference experience will help the girls embrace the qualities in their everyday lives?
Yeah, so every year we try to pick a theme that really embodies, like, Black girls. And so part of the Black Girl Magic Conference is really creating a space where Black girls can shine, where they can be themselves unapologetically, where they can dream big. And so we host breakout sessions where our girls can really discover their interests and explore different creative outlets. So we do hair braiding, we have doctors come in and pharmacists, we learn about different ways of taking care of ourselves. And so we really want our girls just to have that space to dream together. We want them to be leaders.
And Rosa, can you tell us about this year's keynote speaker?
Yes. We are bringing in Zoe Oley. She's coming from Atlanta. She is the young CEO of Beautiful Curly Me. She's 14 years old.
And so, Essence, if you could share one message with younger girls, what would that be?
If I could share a message with young girls, just embrace yourselfness. Just embrace yourself, because you have so much coming for you and so much around you that can affect you. But whatever you do is up to you, and don't be impacted by the bad things around you.
How can people get involved in the organization? How can people get involved next year?
Yes, absolutely. So our website is www.bgmesinc.com. We host community-based programming. We do school-based programs, like what Essence is in. So we do weekly programming. We have summer programs. We do enrichment programs, and we also do family events.
And all of these details will be over on our website. That's channel3000.com.
What a great conversation. Thank you, Kyrian. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Jacob?
Thanks, Brady. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. It's going to be much warmer starting Friday. Now, tomorrow will be warmer than today for sure, but it's not necessarily going to be warm outside. But by the time we get to Friday, it will be. And then we're going to continue to see a small chance of some rain, maybe some isolated storms Thursday through Saturday. But all 3 days should be mostly dry. Better chance of storms will then come for the middle and end of next week. Looking at the current radar, we continue to see pretty dry conditions in southern Wisconsin, but there also is a good chance that some areas areas are seeing some very light sprinkles, even though they're not showing up on radar. Now that's going to continue throughout the night as we'll see mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little bit more consistent rain further northeast. And as we get into Thursday, we may continue to see some sprinkles, but the chance will be a little bit less compared to the overnight hours. But again, just some pop-up showers, not expecting anything too heavy, but some rain is still possible. Now we will see some sunshine tomorrow, especially later in the day, and we'll continue to see partly to mostly clear skies Thursday night into Friday. And for Friday, we're going to see a lot of sunshine for sure. By the afternoon, we could see some pop-up showers, maybe even some storms on Friday. But again, most of the area shouldn't see any rain at all. And if you do, it will be very brief, although maybe a few small pockets of heavier rain. And then partly cloudy skies will continue for Friday night into Saturday, as we'll see more sunshine for Saturday as well. So for tomorrow, highs will be in the upper 60s, maybe lower 70s compared to the upper 50s and lower 60s today. So about 10 degrees warmer. And then for Friday, it'll be about 10 degrees warmer from there, as highs will be near 80 degrees. With partly sunny skies and a small chance of those afternoon storms. For the weekend, it's looking gorgeous, although we do have a small chance of storms Saturday. Beyond that, we are going to be fairly dry, a lot of sunshine. Even if we see those storms Saturday, we're likely going to see sunshine for much of the day. Sunday, there's even a better chance of mostly sunny skies, as the rain chance Sunday looks to be just about 0. Now, we are going to see more rain towards the middle and end of next week, and the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook does suggest that there will be above average precipitation during that time. And you can see that firsthand as we get towards the middle and end of next week. We do have several chances of storms. But the good news is that the temperatures aren't really going to be impacted too much by those thunderstorms. We're still expecting high temperatures, at least in the middle 70s towards the end of next week. And before those storms roll through, temperatures will get even warmer for Monday and Tuesday, as highs could hit the middle and upper 80s, may even be flirting with a few lower 90s out there. So really starting Friday, we're going to see some consistent summer-like temperatures, and even tomorrow will be a lot better than today. So if you didn't like the forecast today, don't worry, it's going to change very quickly over the next couple.
If you're looking for some heat, head on down to Phoenix, Arizona. 97 degrees there, but it's partly cloudy, so a little shade.
We were just having that conversation. 97, but it's dry, but still too hot.
That's still way too hot. I mean, I know today wasn't ideal, but I'd still take today's weather over that. I'm not a fan of the heat. But for those of you that are a fan of the heat, we'll see some more bearable heat compared to the Phoenix 97. We're going to see upper 70s, low 80s for Friday through the weekend, and then middle 80s for Monday, Tuesday. Then we are going to see some storms for the middle of next week. So a lot of very nice days upcoming. So don't get too down by today's weather. This is not going to continue. It'll be warmer tomorrow and then even warmer for Friday.
All right, sounds good. Tomorrow on Live at 4, coverage of the budget meeting between Governor Tony Evers and the GOP. And later on News 3 Now at 5, Merrill Hubbard introduces us to a local artist leaving trinkets around town. Thanks so much for joining us on Live at 4. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. And you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.